And this one I feel like is more for the men. I've been doing hair for the past 18 years, and without even realizing it, I have been actively doing some, we'll call it market research. The majority of my clientele is women, and after having so many women in my chair and having one-on-one time where they get to share things with me and I sit and listen while doing hair at the same time, um, there's been lots of commonalities in a lot of these conversations when it comes to relationships. And here I am thinking that I am just their hairstylist and we are conversating together and I'm learning about them and they're learning about me. But in reality, if I look back, there has been so many different things that I feel like I can take away and share with you guys, just with so many things in life. Because after you learn how to sit and listen and communicate with people, you tend to hear things on repeat. Everybody is their own person, and we're all individuals, and we all have our own specific needs and desires for our lives and ideas of what we want our life to look like and our relationships to look like. But I can't help but notice that there are common things that I hear a lot of the time from my clients and my friends. And so I thought it might be interesting if I could just sit here and share with you guys what I've learned. And I want this to be more of a open discussion that we're here to help each other, not to, in the comment section, everyone just start bashing what men don't do or what women don't do, or like we've all seen the comments get wild whenever you tend to open it up and talk about things. Obviously, relationships they're touchy because we all have our own experiences and it usually involves feelings, and we've all had our feelings hurt, and we all desire to be loved and to find love. And we all desire just to have healthy and loving relationships, whether that is in your partner or in just healthy, good relationships with your coworkers, your family, your friends. But today I feel like I just want to share with you some takeaways. And this one I feel like is more for the men. So if this video, after watching it, if you agree at all with it, like I would just ask you and encourage you to share it with somebody that you feel like it might help. I love to learn and I love to improve just every aspect of my life if possible. That's what we should be doing while we're here on this earth, right? Helping each other, learning how to understand each other better, and then helping each other improve ourselves. And we all should be taking ownership on bettering ourselves each year. When life happens to us, like it happens to all of us, it is best to look at every circumstance, if possible, of what did I learn in this so that we can get better and not keep repeating patterns. So I'm just going to start by saying the majority of this is going to be what I like to call cheat codes for the guys, because I feel like there's a lot of guys out there that maybe try and do a general kind of thing when it comes to relationships. I think the number one cheat code that I can offer men, if you are truly ready for a serious and committed relationship, this is not for people just wanting to go and play around. This is for people truly desiring a relationship and building a solid, healthy relationship. The number one cheat code for females is, how does your girl feel loved? How does she feel loved? That's super broad, right? Because we're all different. But the number one cheat code to that answer is learn your woman. Who are you dating? Like, who is she? I know with marketing and everything, like we just had Valentine's Day, right? So what is the number one like hallmark Valentine's Day? it's usually roses, it's the heart-shaped box of chocolates, and it's a card. That's, or like a piece of jewelry that's in the shape of a heart or something along the lines of that, right? And it's like, that's great and all, but like, let's learn to really learn who we are dating and pursuing. Like, she might not like any of that. And I understand it's the thought that counts, but at the end of the day, if you're going to want to find a lifelong partner, learning each other and what your specific needs are for each other is key. So, what if your girl does love flowers? Do you know what her favorite flower is? Have you asked her? You know, those, they're little things, and it might not seem, maybe it doesn't seem significant to you, but I promise you, the littlest things are the biggest things in relationships, especially to females. Um, so, cheat code number 2 is little things are big things. The more you can pin down the nitty gritty little details and specifics of the girl that you're pursuing, the better. Like, what's her favorite color? What's her favorite snack? What's her favorite drink? From where? Is she a Starbucks girl? I would say my subcategory cheat code to that would be, everybody has a note app or a note section on their phone, right? On our smartphones. So make a note section. If you're not good at remembering, that's okay. We're not going to quiz you, or at least not most of us are, maybe some are. But make a note section and start typing in all the things. Like, when you're truly listening to her when she's talking, that's another code I'm going to bring up next. But when you are listening, I would say write things down until it, it's just like in school. They have you write things down so it finally sticks. Same thing. So if you truly are desiring to make your girl feel so loved, then pay attention to the littlest of details. And that brings me to my next one, is surprise her. Once you know what she likes, surprise her one day. It doesn't have to be for her birthday or for Valentine's Day or for whatever. A random Tuesday when you're coming home from work and you stop at the store and grab her something, even if it's just like she loves gummy worms, okay? And you just bring her home a bag of gummy worms, like, that's huge, because what that tells us is you were thinking of us, and you're thinking of us enough to do an action and follow through with it, right? So it's like, we love men of action. I understand that we all have busy lives and we all have a ton of distractions, and being in a relationship takes work and effort and time. So it's like, I totally understand that, but I'm just talking about when you learn how to be mindful of each other, the better it is for you guys in the long run, because you're placing each other first before anything else. I understand work is important, family's important, all that stuff, but if you're really pursuing to have a lifelong partner, she or he is your number one. That's number one in life. And everything else follows after that. Mindfulness and just thinking of her enough to follow through and do these little acts of kindness. It doesn't even have to be bringing her, you don't even have to bring her gifts. It's not always gifts, because that's another thing. When you learn the girl that you are intentionally pursuing, she might not care about gifts. Maybe she loves words of affirmation, right? So in that, you could just write her a note to tell her how much she means to you, or you could just write her a thank you note. Maybe she helped you with something. Maybe, it's like just saying a few nice things or saying what you admire about her. That goes a long way. I know that the popular thing right now is the 5 love languages. If you've heard of it, great. If not, you could do a quick Google search just to understand what it is. But the 5 love languages is like, most people in the world, there's five things that how they feel loved, guys and girls. And so I believe it's physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and what is the fifth one? But, anyways, I say simultaneously throughout life, like there might be everybody, they say everybody has about two main ones. So let's say words of affirmation and physical touch. Those are probably my two top ones, but at any time it can change because that's also how girls roll sometimes based on where we are and what we need. Um, Quality time or acts of service or gifts. Um, it just depends. We like all of them. I think most people like all of them, if I'm being completely honest, but maybe in just different scales or at different times. So learning that too is important. Learning how, like I said at the beginning, learning how your person feels love. Okay. Let's say if it was acts of service, like helping her with something in her life, whether it's putting up a shelf or I don't know, helping her with something with her car, stuff like that. Like it can be so meaningful just to doing these little things. Um, which brings me to the next thing, saying what you mean and meaning what you say and keeping your promises. So, girls, pay attention. We're always studying and learning you because we want to better understand who we're getting to know and talking to because we're constantly trying to figure out if you're also a good partner for us and if you're also safe and if we can trust you. So, I would say that being a man of your word and not just saying words and then never fulfilling them, almost like you're using it as a manipulation tool of like dangling a carrot in front of her face and giving her false hope and then never following through. Even down to the littlest of things is a big deal. Like I said, little things are big things to us. And it's not like we're over here tallying these things down. Like, I feel like most healthy females understand life happens and we're gracious and patient. But the communication in that is so key. So, let's say you were talking up taking her on a fun date and you kept saying, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna take you to dinner, and then we're gonna go over here and do mini golf, and then we're gonna, you're talking this whole thing up." Well, we are getting excited, and we're gonna look forward to doing that. And it's not just the what we're doing; it's that we get to spend time with you, and we're getting to know you, and it's something fun, right? But if you don't fulfill that, or you make an excuse, or you break promises at the last minute, that is hard because that is bigger to us than you think. Um, Sometimes it makes us feel like, okay, are you going to be this kind of guy that always just says stuff and then he never actually follows through? So he just talks a big game, but he can't actually back it up? Or is he flaky? Like, girls need security and consistency, just like probably guys do, but we're talking about we're helping the guys out with cheat codes. So we're going to do a part two another day and we're going to talk to the girls. But I'm going to need your help with that because I am an expert in females. I'm not an expert in males because I'm a female myself. So I feel like I have more of a right to speak to the males coming from a female perspective because of what I do know and what I've heard for 18 years now, talking to women all ages and just from all over. I would say just always treat your partner like you are studying for the biggest exam of your life and every single question is going to be on the table. That's how good you should be getting to know your person. And the secret to that also is until the day you are no longer together or until the day she leaves this earth, we are ever changing and ever growing. If you right now are telling yourself, "Oh, I know everything about my girl, I know everything there is to know," I promise you, you don't. We're always changing and evolving and growing like we should be while we're here. So you might have a very good idea of who your girl is, but we are supposed to be growing and changing and evolving. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's a good thing. Change is a good thing. It's like the more you ask her and the more you learn how to truly listen when she's speaking, communication is not about talking. People get that twisted all the time. Like they think being a good communicator is that oh, I know how to talk really well or I can carry on conversation. That's great, but I've learned after doing hair for so long and people sitting in your chair and pouring their hearts out to you and being open and vulnerable, to be a good communicator, you first have to be a good listener. So the next cheat code for you is learn how to be an amazing listener. Like if you're sitting there right now and you're like, oh, but she just rambles on and on sometimes, or what she talks about is boring, or, well, that might be a first indicator that you're not really ready to be in a relationship because, or maybe you need to figure out what it is that you really need or want out of life, because girls process by talking things out. And it's not always that we're talking to you because we want you to fix things or do anything about it. We process by getting it out of our minds. We live up here all the time. We are constantly thinking about everything all the time. And so we feel better once we communicate and just get it out of our brain and our body. And so it's so vital for us to find someone that truly knows how to listen and that we feel cares what we're talking about, because I am here to say we can tell when you don't care. Like when we're talking to you about our day and we feel like we're talking to a wall, or you don't really give us anything back, we're not looking for you to give us solutions all the time. You could ask and say, like, do you want my advice, or would you like to hear what I have to say? And then it's open to whatever she's going to say after that. A lot of the time, though, you can at least offer I'm sorry you had a hard day, or I'm sorry you felt that way today, or give her some kind of nice indicator that you heard what she said and that you do care about what she says, and just offer her something nice afterwards to say or something comforting. Most of the time, we do just need to be comforted, and most of the time, like 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, we already know what we need to do. We just need to process it, and how we process a lot of the time is we communicate it out, we talk it out. So the worst thing that you could do when we're pouring our heart out to you and talking about our day or a problem is for us to feel like you weren't listening, or you truly don't care, or you can't be bothered. Because what happens over time is little by little, we take these mental notes when we bring things to you and we feel like it's dismissed or you truly didn't hear us or care. There's almost like these little messages that go in our brains that says, okay, next time we might try it again, but if we get that same response from you each time, it's almost like these little messages in our brain are now telling us, like, he's not somebody that we can feel like we can go to with things. And that's never good, because whenever you start getting into that spot where you feel like your person isn't truly hearing you or listening to you, now you're not going to go to them when there's problems, because you are starting to feel like they don't care, or like I said, just can't be bothered. And that is such a awful feeling for a female, to feel like you don't really care enough to hear her out. And so we will find it elsewhere, whether it be girlfriends, we'll call our mom, but you're not going to be our number one person now that we go to with stuff. And what's bad about that is when we're looking for a partner, we need to feel like you can handle us and all of our stuff. And if you can't, then slowly but surely, like, we're going to be done. We'll be done in the relationship, because you got to think about it this way. who you are pursuing and going after in your life, like you have to really think about it like this is the biggest decision that you're going to make. One of the biggest decisions in life, in your whole life, is the partner you pick to do life with. Your partner is your teammate. You want an excellent teammate, okay? Like, okay, way back in elementary school days, when everyone's lined up and you're picking teams for a sport out on the field, and you want to pick the best one because you want to win. You want to do great when you're playing in this game. It's the same thing in life. Like you are trying to find the best partner for you because life is hard. You're going to go through so many things, and you want to make sure that your teammate cares and has your back and is there for you and is there to learn everything that there is about you, because the more that you guys connect on all the different levels, you can be this amazing team together that you can just go through life, and it's like you both are back to back with your shields up and you're just fighting battles together all the time. And it's like that your partner has your back. That's the best feeling in the world, when you know that you are picking a ride or die kind of person. Um, and so I feel like, I'm sure males do it too, but females are always assessing the situation every single time that we bring any kind of a problem to you. We are hoping that you are paying attention, and we're hoping that, like I said, we're not always necessarily looking for a fix. We're just looking to know that you give a crap about what we're talking about. And then we do, girls, we, I would say a clue, or I guess a cheat code with females too, is that we like to think and we like to be in charge, but also we don't. I know that sounds super confusing, but I think the girls will understand what I'm talking about. We love to feel like we are independent and we can do things on our own, and that we've got this with a lot of things in life because it makes us feel good and it makes us feel capable and strong and able. But men were created to be natural born leaders. So we will totally follow your lead if we feel like we can totally trust you with leading. A lot of the time, when you hear guys complain about women bulldozing them or women being bossy, or you know how they talk about a man being in his full masculine and a female being in her full feminine, there is something to that. I feel like when the scales get off and the woman, what's that saying? The woman's wearing the pants in the relationship. It's because she's having a hard time trusting you to lead. So whenever the scales tip and they're off, instead of the man being the strong man and the leader and taking charge, not in a domineering way, um, there's a soft way and a nice way to lead without being domineering or controlling. But whenever females feel like we are having a hard time trusting that you can lead us in a good direction, that's when the scales get tipped. And that's when women start acting more masculine and being a little bit more bossy and taking charge and taking the lead. And then the men get kind of irked because now they feel like kind of disrespected. So it's like communication with that is huge. But also, all these men that want these super feminine women, right? In order for that true feminine nature to come out in a female, she has to be around a fully masculine male. I've seen it, I've heard it for 18 years. This is not just my own little old opinion. This is something that I've been watching and listening for years now. And I always just think, wow, like across the board, it's like this is where in the comments, I'm hoping and praying that you all can be so kind. And if you have things that you want to share, please by all means share, like what some of your personal cheat codes into learning how to have better relationships with each other. This is where I hope that we can be kind and loving and helpful. I don't want to see the comment section get wild and have people start complaining and saying rude things, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to open a line of extra communication and help one another, because I love love. I love relationships, and I love to see people just vibing and getting along, and I love to see people happy. And I feel so blessed that I've been able to sit and listen to all these different scenarios throughout my 18 years of doing hair, because people really do share some personal things about their lives, and I'm so grateful, because little do they know is like how much I've learned from them. It's almost like I've been in this huge market research study for 18 years now, and I didn't even realize. And I've been able to pull away so much helpful information that I've applied to my own life. And I've just been able to take away lots of helpful tips that has really positively impacted my life and others too, because I can also share what I learn with you guys and everybody else that I cross paths with when we get into conversations. So I feel like I'm just here. I just want to kind of like help us understand each other better so that we can all have better relationships together. There's so much toxic information out there, and it's like everyone seems, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of platforms that I see people talking about relationships, it's like it has this ring to it that it just sounds so, it's almost like it always seems like the men and the women are like against each other, to where it's like the men are like, yeah, but we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the females doing this. It's like blame. Everyone wants to blame each other and like kind of come at each other. And I kind of hate that. It's like, how are we ever going to learn if we don't all just humble ourselves and like listen and learn from each other instead of it being like a battle? It's like it shouldn't be a battle. We should be talking and having these open lines of communication with each other to better learn each other and know that we're all different. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different families, different experiences, different traumas. Some don't have much trauma, some have a lot of trauma. At the end of the day, we are all responsible for ourselves. We can't keep blaming things on our past or blaming things on our surroundings. Like, we all have to take ownership for ourselves and for our shortcomings. I understand life is a journey and you don't just get it overnight, but it's like you're not ever going to grow when you're constantly blaming everybody else or pointing the finger at everybody else. It's like, what can I do here? What did I learn in this situation? How do I get better? How do I not repeat that same mistake or that same pattern I keep seeming to repeat over and over again? It always starts with us first. So it's like, if we could just humble ourselves enough to understand that 9 times out of 10, it's like that saying, everywhere you go, there you are. You have to own your stuff first and work on yourself first before you can truly give people your best. I heard this really cool thing in a podcast like a year or two ago, and they said that all of us have certain expectations in relationships and requirements. But first, one of the first questions is, do I have what I require? Like, within me, if you have a list of things that you want to find in a partner, do you have that first? And it's such a good question and such a good way to look at it, because it's like you might have all these requirements and have all these rules or have all these wants and desires in a relationship or a partner, but it's like, do you possess these things? Are you able to be this person? So it's like, how how do you put that all on someone else for them to be your everything if you haven't even done the work on yourself first? Just being mindful of those things. I have seriously, like, I've been writing down, I'll show you. I have like this whole page. I have this whole page written out. And then this, yeah, I have like 4 or 5 pages of cheat codes that I've written out. But I want to do this in like a 3-part series because there's so many things that I don't want to give all the fun little nuggets away yet. But if this spoke to any of you guys at all, please just comment down below and let me know if you agree with anything that I brought up or if you disagree and why. If you have some of your own things that you feel like would be helpful for men to know about females, comment them down below and I might add them into my next part 2 and part 3 video for you guys. I am excited to do this series because my ultimate goal is to just bring us all closer together to understanding each other and to having healthier and happier relationships. This is not, like I said, not a battle of the sexes. I don't want the comment section to get wild. I don't want people being rude. I am here because I have the desire to help us understand each other better. I want love and healthy relationships for everybody, and I feel like it always starts with us first. We have to own our part first and work on ourselves and make sure that we are healthiest version for ourselves first before we start demanding that in others. And I just want to say thank you again to all my clients that over the years has really helped me see and understand you guys and your needs so that I can now share them with all of you in hopes that we can all have happier and healthier relationships with one another. Okay, you guys, part 2 will be next, and I will talk to you soon. I hope you all have a great week. Okay, bye.